Picture the sun at the equator. It's not a gentle warmth. It's a relentless, vertical hammer of radiation. Now, picture the sun in the far north during winter. A weak, fleeting ghost of light hanging low in the sky for just a few hours. Your skin color is not an aesthetic detail. It's the 200,000-year-old solution to a brutal war fought between those two extremes. A war that rages inside your own biology, driven by two non-negotiable commands. Command A, you must block the sun. Its UV radiation will shred a vital nutrient, folate, crippling your ability to have healthy children. Command B, you must absorb the sun. You need its UV radiation to produce vitamin D, without which your bones weaken and your immune system can collapse. Block the sun and you perish. Absorb the sun and you perish. An impossible paradox. If you're someone who seeks the signal in the noise, who suspects there's a deeper logic to the world, then this story is for you. It will rewire how you see not just humanity's journey, but the story written in your own skin. To understand the solution, we must first go to the front lines of this war, the place on Earth with the most intense solar bombardment. We need to see how evolution forged the ultimate biological shield. And that shield is forged here, at the equator, a world bathed in relentless, unfiltered solar bombardment. Here, in populations across East and West Africa, evolution produced its most powerful answer: deep ebony skin. This is adaptation number 1. It is a near-perfect biological barrier, blocking almost all UV radiation. Its primary mission is absolute: to protect the body's vital folate reserves, safeguarding the very future of the next generation. But evolution is a master of nuance. In regions with slightly less intense sun or some seasonal variation, like parts of South Asia, this perfect shield can be too effective. So a subtle adjustment was made. Rich, dark brown skin is calibrated to allow about 20% more UV light to penetrate. Think of it as the difference between a total blackout curtain, designed for absolute darkness, and a precision light filtering one. The first offers maximum protection. The second lets just enough light leak through to power the vital machinery of vitamin D synthesis inside. This elegant fine-tuning is a masterpiece of logistics. Evolution simply altered how the same protective particles, the melanosomes, were packaged and distributed. It is the first, most powerful answer to the sun's challenge. But as our ancestors moved, the challenge changed, and so did the shield. The journey pushed outward, away from the equator's unwavering glare. It led our ancestors into the tropical and subtropical lands of South Asia and Melanesia, where the sun was a powerful but more variable force. Here, evolution became a precision engineer. This gave rise to mahogany and copper tone skin. It's a masterful balance. This shield still blocks a formidable 70 to 80% of UV radiation, offering robust protection for your vital folate reserves. But it allows just enough light to penetrate, ensuring you can synthesize the vitamin D you need. You can see this dual strategy in the warm, reddish undertones, a visual signature of two different types of melanin working in perfect concert. And here, the shield becomes dynamic. When UV levels spike, your body's ancient defense system recognizes the threat. It doesn't just passively absorb damage, it sounds an alarm and begins building a fortress in real time, rapidly darkening to reinforce your protection. This level of fine-tuning is impressive, but evolution was just getting started. What happens when human populations meet and mix at the world's great crossroads? Evolution creates something else entirely. A kind of living optical camouflage that has baffled scientists for decades. This living camouflage is the genius of olive skin. You find it at the world's great crossroads, the Mediterranean, the Middle East, parts of the Andes. These are the lands where human migrations have met, mixed, and created a new biological reality. This skin tone is a masterclass in compromise, built for distinct seasons of sun and cloud. Its most remarkable feature is a kind of optical illusion. Because of its neutral undertones, it seems to shift with the light. In bright sun, it appears deeper, offering protection. In the low light of winter, it appears lighter, allowing crucial UV rays to penetrate. Think of it like sophisticated photochromic lenses that darken on demand, or adaptive military camouflage that blends into its surroundings. This is a highly functional trait. The result? These populations often have the most stable vitamin D levels year-round. They found a perfect balance. Now, pause here. This is important. Until now, we've discussed skin getting darker or lighter as a simple dial. This optical camouflage is a different category of adaptation entirely. Grasping this concept is the key to understanding the entire second half of our journey into colder climates. If you miss this shift, the rest of the story loses its meaning.
So, olive skin is a master of versatility. But what about a climate with even more dramatic swings, where the summer sun is scorching, but the winter is long, dark, and merciless? Evolution needed an even more dynamic system. It needed to find the absolute sweet spot. And it did. It engineered a living threshold, a skin that breathes with the seasons. Think of the great basins of the Mediterranean, the coast of North Africa, or the plains of South Asia. Here, evolution forged a skin that holds a constant dialogue with the sun. As the summer sun climbs high, your skin answers. Melanin production surges, not in panic, but with purpose.
A bronze shield is raised, day by day, a living armor deflecting the UV onslaught to protect the delicate folate within. Then the light thins, the sun hangs low, the shield is lowered. Your skin pales, becoming a receptive canvas. It actively seeks the weak light, maximizing every photon to generate that essential vitamin D for the long, dark months. The speed of this adjustment is remarkable. It's a high-speed calibration, a biological system in constant flux, perfectly tuned to a world of dramatic change. This rapid adjustment seems like the perfect system, but every adaptation we've discussed so far has one thing in common. The primary enemy was the sun. We are now crossing a line.
We were moving to a part of the world where the enemy changed. The sun was no longer a threat, its absence was. And the evolutionary choices became far more brutal. Nowhere is this brutal choice more visible than in the history of Europe. For generations, the weak, high-latitude sun posed a hidden, devastating threat. Skeletal remains from the medieval period tell a grim story of widespread rickets. Imagine entire communities where children grew up with soft, bowing bones, where a simple winter flu could be a death sentence because their immune systems, starved of vitamin D, couldn't fight back. This was the cold reality. Faced with this, evolution made a desperate calculation. It began to systematically dismantle the melanin shield. The result was warmer beige and fair skin tones that could maximize every precious photon of sunlight. The cost, of course, was a new vulnerability to the sun's damaging rays. This skin burns easily. But evolution offered a compromise, a highly responsive tanning ability. It's a rapid deployment defense system, an acknowledgement that the risk of a sunburn was an acceptable price to pay to avoid the certainty of disease and decay. Making a trade-off to accept sunburn in exchange for survival was a desperate move, but evolution was pushed even further. We're now going to the absolute edge case, to places where the sun all but vanishes for months. Here, the solution wasn't a trade-off, it was a complete surrender of defense. It was a genetic sprint that happened in the last 0.1% of human history, creating skin that became less of a shield and more of a net, desperate to catch every last photon of light. This is the final destination on our journey. We've arrived in ancient Ireland, in Scandinavia, where the sun is a fleeting visitor and the sky is a tapestry of gray for much of the year. Here, that net becomes the skin itself, extremely fair, almost translucent.
It's a design that allows nearly 5 times more UV radiation to penetrate than the darkest skin tones. In these conditions, any melanin becomes a liability. It's a microscopic barrier blocking the precious few photons the body needs to create vitamin D.
This adaptation wasn't a slow, meandering change. It was a genetic sprint, one of the fastest known evolutionary shifts in our species, happening in just the last 5,000 to 10,000 years, a blink of an eye in our history. Of course, this creates a profound vulnerability to the sun. But in this environment, the real threat wasn't burning. It was the bone-warping decay of rickets. Sunburn became an acceptable risk when the alternative was extinction. So from the deep ebony shield of the equator to this translucent photon-hunting net of the north, evolution crafted a breathtaking spectrum of solutions. This journey, however, forces a profound question. If our outward adaptations are so radically different, is the biological machinery driving them too? The answer is one of the most elegant and unifying truths in all of human biology. No, the machinery is identical. Beneath the vast spectrum of color, a profound secret is written into our shared code. Every single human on this planet, from the darkest ebony to the most translucent fair, has the same number of melanocytes. The same. The difference isn't the hardware, it's the software. It's the genetic instructions those cells receive. Think of it like this. Every human body has the same number of biological factories, but our DNA, acting as the CEO, issues radically different directives. For ancestors in high UV zones, the directive was run 3 shifts, max out production of eumelanin, pack it into large, dense granules, and ship them out to form a protective shield. For ancestors in the north, the directive was scale back to a skeleton crew, produce smaller, paler pheomelanin granules, and keep distribution sparse. A landmark study in a leading genomics journal confirmed in 2023 that a handful of these genetic directives account for the entire glorious spectrum of human skin tone. This is software so adaptable that its evolution happens at a speed that makes geologists blush. It's a powerful realization that we are all running on the same biological hardware, just calibrated for different ancestral skies. Thinking about your own heritage, which part of this evolutionary story resonates most with you? Share your thoughts below. It's fascinating to see the human story from every perspective, so it is a unifying, powerful truth. But if you think the story ends with pigment, you're only seeing the paint job. The most profound adaptation of all isn't visible. Evolution didn't just change our color, it fundamentally rewired our cells' relationship with sunlight. And that is where the true story of our resilience is written. It's a story written inside your very cells. Because evolution didn't just paint us different colors, it rewired our entire relationship with sunlight at the molecular level. Think about it. In places where sunlight was scarce, your ancestors' biology didn't just thin the pigment shield, it also upgraded the internal machinery. Cells became more sensitive, able to trigger the vitamin D production cascade with the faintest whisper of UVB light. The very proteins that transport this vital nutrient through the body became more efficient couriers. These are adaptations you can't see. They are a quiet, relentless ingenuity written in your DNA. And this is where science offers something deeper than knowledge. In a world that often demands conformity, your biology tells a different story, one of specialized survival. The very traits that might make you feel like an outsider, the ways you operate that differ from the norm, are echoes of your ancestors' strength. Understanding this is an act of self-reclamation. It grounds your identity not in fleeting social trends, but in a 200,000-year history of resilience. Your skin tone isn't an aesthetic, it's a biological record of where your ancestors lived, the challenges they faced, and the life or death decisions their bodies made for you to be here today. Every shade tells a story of survival. That's the truth science reveals when we look deeper than the surface. If this video changed how you see yourself in the world, subscribe and turn on notifications. Your support helps us continue to have these deeper conversations together.